Welcome back to Surviving and Thriving, where we share with you the things that we have learned as we have transitioned our family from struggling to survive disease to thriving, living life to the fullest, right smack dab in the midst of it. In the hopes that something that we share with you will help you, enlighten you, and encourage you as you transition your family from struggling to survive disease to thriving, living life to the fullest, right smack dab in the midst of it. Well, life comes at us all, right? Life comes at us all hard, right? Good and bad comes at everybody, regardless of your demographics, regardless of your height, your shape, your color, what part of the world you live in, your sex, your IQ. It does not matter, right? It doesn't matter how much money you make, how large of a size family, whether you come from a single family home or a two-parent home that's a great home. It does not matter. Life comes at everybody hard, right? Good people and bad people get to experience good things and bad things in life. And the thing about it is you never know which one is coming or when it's coming, right? Or how it's coming. You don't know if good's coming at you or bad's going to come at you. But what you do know is you get a full dose of all of it continually throughout your entire life. And there's nothing you can do about it. From the time you are conceived to the time you leave, your spirit leaves your body, right? And you're dead. You will experience good and bad indiscriminately. Life is going to come at you. So what is the difference maker? What makes some people succeed in life and become victors in life? And what makes some people fail at life and succumb to the things that life has done to them? Because isn't it amazing that you can have two people experience the same traumatic things in life, and one take that thing by the horn and it propels their life and they overcome, and another person can't ever seem to get over that same exact event, and their life seems to succumb to that, and they go downward, right, in life and never seem to be able to overcome it. What is the difference maker? Well, there's a few things that we can attribute to being the difference maker, but one thing we're going to talk about today that is a major thing, right? I would probably say one of the most major things. It's your perspective. It's how you see things and what you do with what you see, right? Now, here's the thing about perspectives. Perspectives can change. We get our perspectives from our experiences in life. We get our perspectives from things that we've been taught, the way that we've been raised, right? But perspectives can change. You're not born with a set perspective. And the perspective you have at 12, it should definitely be different from the perspective you have at 40, which should be different from the perspective you have at 80, which means that your perspective changes with experiences, with knowledge, with education, with time, right? But we can have a direct effect on our perspective. Because if we find out we're looking at things wrong and seeing things wrong, we can educate ourselves and expose ourselves to different things in life to help shape and change our perspective. But I'm going to tell you something. A lot of your perspective is choice. At any given moment in life, at any given time and instant in life, you can make a choice on how you're going to see a certain event, respond to a certain event, and what you're going to do with that event. You can even choose what you're going to do with your emotions. That takes a lot of discipline, but it is a choice. We either choose to give in to emotions and fits of rage, right? Fits of despair. That's a choice. Or you can choose to say, I'm not going that route. And you can harness those emotions and make a decision with what you're going to do about it. Now, everybody have a gut reaction, a gut emotion, right? That just comes out, right? But you still can say, wait a minute, I'm not going to fear in this moment. I'm not doing that. No, I'm not going to lose my mind and get hysterical and act crazy. It is a choice. And you have the power to make the decision and choose which way you're going to go at any given time. But it does require self-discipline and self-control. And I'm going to tell you, self-discipline and self-control, guess what? It's a choice. You can choose to have it and walk in it, or you can choose to be footloose, fancy-free, and reckless. It's up to you. It's all a choice, right? Now, life comes at us all. But some of the things in life that come at us, we have a direct or an indirect impact on those things happening to us. The decisions and the choices that we make in life will either directly or indirectly cause things, good or bad, to come at us. Okay? And those decisions have nothing to do with your intent. You can have a good intention, but it can still bring about an action that causes something bad, right? You can have a bad intention, and it can actually bring about something else, right? So it's not necessarily the intention, but it is the decisions and the choices that you make that directly or indirectly cause good and bad things to happen to us, okay? But the flip side of that, right, on the other hand, there are some things that we have no control over, that our decisions did not cause a direct or indirect impact to bring about that good or that bad. Okay? Things do happen that we have no control over. Okay? And that is, we need to know that. So the things that we can control, we need to take ownership for it. If you made a decision and it brought about a bad result, then you need to say, you know what? Own it. I made that decision. I did that. And the natural tendency of all man, you guys, at some point in time, because some people are more apt to take responsibility than others. But that's a choice that they make, right? But even if you're known for really taking responsibility, there are some areas where you're not trying to take responsibility for it, where we excuse ourselves for things that will hold other people accountable for. Because we'll make excuses for our behavior, for things that we've done, for things that have happened as a direct result of our choices. And those same things, right, we don't accept other people's excuses for, and we'll nail people to the cross for it. But we've got to learn to take responsibility. Even if your knee-jerk gut reaction is to excuse yourself, you can still come back and say no, right? I did it, and own it. I've done that a lot. Have y'all done that? Like, you're in an argument, you mad at somebody, or somebody is upset with you because you did something, and you got in your head, you're saying all the reasons why, but then at the end of the day, you got to go, you know what? Yeah, I did it. I was wrong. And then you got to go and apologize, right? So we need to take ownership for our actions and responsibility for the things that happen to us. We tend to want to take responsibility for the good things and then blame other people for the bad things, right? If you have been told for many years that you're borderline diabetic and then you ended up with full-blown diabetes, you got to take responsibility for that. It was your eating. It was your actions. You knew what you needed to do. You knew you could back up from it, but you chose to go full speed ahead. And then when you deal with all the things that diabetes bring, when you start getting amputations, you're all swole and you're losing your eyesight, and now your kidney function is going, and you got issues with your heart and all the other things that come with that, you can't sit there and blame the diabetes for what you're going through. Well, it's the diabetes, that's why I lost my eyesight. No, it's because you chose to go over into diabetes and didn't back up and eat right like you were told and exercise. Then when you got diabetes, you didn't choose to do right. You tried to use insulin to fix your issue, which is never going to fix. And so you're still not doing right. So don't blame the diabetes. Don't blame your parents and your genetics, right? Blame yourself and take responsibility. And when you take responsibility for it and you own it, then don't go around making people feel bad or complaining about it. Suck it up and take it. You're doing it to yourself, and you know you are. Hard word, but it's true and it's real, right? Now, on the other side of that, okay, say you're dealing with something you had nothing to do with it. Maybe it was something that you were born with. You had nothing to do with it. You had nothing to do with it directly or indirectly. Okay? Even if that happened to you, now you're truly a victim. Something really did happen to you. You had no responsibility for. But even if something happened to you, you had no responsibility for it, then you still got to own it at a certain point. Say, you know what? This has nothing to do with me. I'm not going to blame anybody. I'm not going to blame my genetics. I'm not going to blame my ancestry, right? It is what it is. I had nothing to do with this, but now I'm dealing with it, right? So ownership would be, but now that it's here, what am I going to do with it? If you keep that victim mentality, like something has happened to you, it's not your fault, and you're constantly looking for somebody to blame it on, or to be like, well, because it's happening to me, I had nothing to do with it, now I have nothing I can do about it. That's not true. Okay? You always have a choice to stand up and rise in any situation. You don't have to have a victim mentality just because you were victimized. You may be a true victim, but if you want to overcome and become a victor, you can't have the mentality of I'm a victim, woe is me, and the rest of my life I go down the woe self-pity road. And even if you cause something to happen to you, right? And if you cause it to happen to you in ignorance. Okay, so nobody ever taught you you're supposed to drink water. Now you got kidney failure. Now you know you're supposed to drink water. You wish you knew, but nobody ever told you. You can't go the rest of your life blaming your parents because they didn't teach you to drink water. You can't be 80 years old still upset with your parents and blaming your parents because you're dealing with kidney failure. At some point in your life, you heard you needed to start drinking water, right? And then when you started going through kidney failure, okay, so maybe you never heard it, maybe you never knew. But now that you know, are you doing what's right? And blaming your parents isn't going to help you overcome and get victory. At a certain point, you got to say, okay, I release them. Now this is what I'm dealing with. Okay? And if you knew it and you didn't drink water and you had kidney failure, then own it. And at some point, you still got to say, I did this. Now what am I going to do to make it right? You can't have a victim mentality if you want to win in this life. Even if you are a true victim, a victim mentality will cause you to succumb to life, will cause you to fail at life, and will cause you to have a rough road and never make it on top. You will not succeed. The only way to succeed is to take responsibility and have the mindset of ownership and say, now that I got ownership over what's going on and what's happening to me from this day forward, I'm going to do the things that I need to do to succeed and to overcome. I'm going to do what needs to be done to win at this thing called life. So whether good or bad happens, I'm going to harness it and I'm going to ride this thing and make it go the direction I want to go. That's the only way to win. That's the only way to overcome. You got to own it, take responsibility for it, and then do the work to make it work for you so that you win. Okay? That's what you got to do. You know, there's a lot of people out there. Like say a person didn't know, like we'll use that example that they weren't taught they were supposed to drink water. Right? They start going through severe health issues. They do the things that they need to do to correct it, or the things that they need to do to live the best life now that they're in it, to try to overcome. And then they start educating people so that they don't go down the same path. That's called being a victor. That's called overcoming, sitting on top of your situation. Right? But Then there's other people who will be like, woe is me. Now they want people to serve them the rest of their life, take care of them the rest of their life. People need to pay for everything that deals with them because you know what? They got an issue. You're not going to win that way. And if you want to have that victim mentality and blame everyone and everything and you want to lose at life, do me a favor, don't watch this because I'm not here for you. You are not my target audience. And it's okay. I'm okay with it and I'm hoping you okay with it, but I ain't the one for you because that is not who I am. I'm a victor and I'm about winning and overcoming. I'm about being a champion. If you want to be the champion of your own life, right? If you want to be a champion in your family, okay, you got to have a victor mentality. Victory is the only option. Yeah, you're going to lose some battles in life. We all do. But it's about winning this war, baby. One battle ain't going to make or break the war. But you know what? Every battle starts to tally up in the end. And if you're going to win, that means you got to win some battles, key battles, and you got to fight to the end to win the war. And it's about living your best life to the fullest right in the midst of it. That means that, yeah, life comes at you. Yeah, there's some things that might slow you down or you can't do it the way you want to do it. But it doesn't mean that you're going to lay up and not do anything because you can't do it the way you want to do it. It means you're going to attain everything that's in your heart to attain in the middle of what you're going through, in spite of what you're going through. It means you're going to find other ways to still enjoy it even though you can't do it the way you once thought you would. Make sense? Now, if I had a victim mentality with everything I would have gone through, there's no way that I would have been able to homeschool my kids in the bed, going in and out of consciousness, not being able to see straight. We had to find ways to homeschool. We had to find ways to make our family be successful. Now I got kids getting ready to graduate with their bachelors. Wouldn't be possible if we allowed what happened to us to make us to succumb. So think about your life. There's a lot of things you've overcome. How'd you overcome it? What was your mentality? What you got to learn how to do in all things in life is you got to learn how to push. Push through, even though you're in the middle of going through. Cry if you got to cry. Yell if you got to yell. Scream if you got to scream. I'm not saying suppress your emotions. I'm saying feel it. But keep moving forward in the middle of it. You are a victor. So take responsibility. Hope something in this was helpful for you today. Remember, in all things at all times, do you. Until next time. Bye.